David. I thought today was a really successful end to a very productive spring. The things that impressed me this spring about our team was the level of maturity that they showed, the focus that they had every single day when they came out on the field. I thought we had 15 really productive practices, very competitive practices. As I mentioned the other day, I only noticed one, what I'd call lull. It was just a quick little lull in practice, and they were able to right the ship and get it going in the right direction. So we're searching for consistency in performance, consistency in preparation, and I think that we're headed in the right direction. So the obvious question, I think, coming out of this spring is surrounding the quarterbacks. It's the first time since I've been here, well, after day 14 out at San Bernardino, our first year, where we named Brett the starter, we've had some uncertainty as to who the quarterback's going to be. I thought all four of them performed well through the spring. I don't think we're any closer to a decision right now than we were when we started spring. We'll go back and look at every single rep and see what they do well, see what they need to work on. The great thing about those four young men is that they compete very, very hard. It's important to them. They support each other. And I think what's important is they gain the trust of their teammates. So whoever goes out there, feels the support of their team, and I think they will. And one of the things that's going to help our quarterback, whoever it is that we've got a good offensive line. We've got a really good group of receivers, and we can run the football with return the leading rusher in the Pac-12. So, today, for those that watched it was skewed very much towards the offense. Defensively, we didn't bring pressure. We played mostly single high stuff. So, and that's okay. We wanted to get out on the grass in the Rose Bowl and really kind of just play basic defense. So, once again, I thought it was a really great day. I hope the fans enjoyed it. I know some people would have liked to see a spring game, but for us as a football team, it was more productive to have a practice. It allowed us to have the recruits on the field, which is, that's the lifeblood of your program. And, I think if you look at it the right way, it was a great opportunity to watch some one-on-one pass rush and watch some one-on-one running backs versus linebackers and defensive backs versus receivers and some red zone skelly and see some things that you don't really get to see when you come out to a game. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. We had a great crowd. I thank them all for being there. So that's it.
Coach, you came out of let's go. We good, all right? No, we're not good. You came out of spring practice relatively unscathed, not too many injuries. Do you think you've learned maybe how to manage keeping them a little bit risk-free over the years in spring?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things, Tracy. I think number one, they've learned how to practice. We practice the way I've always practiced in the NFL. I think I probably was a little too aggressive the first two springs with the contact. So yeah, I've learned that we can do it the NFL way if the players understand what the NFL way is, and they do. And the thing that you saw very little of throughout the spring, unless we were going live, was bodies on the ground. And to me, that's a sign of athleticism, maturity, guys understanding how to play hard and physical and still take care of their teammates. And you're right, we did come out of this spring, really, Alex Staff tore his ACL, but besides that, we didn't have any major injuries. So when we start camp in the fall, probably besides Scotty Quisenberry, we're going to be full speed, unless something happens between now and then, which it shouldn't. So it'll be fun to see guys like Stephen Manfro back on the field and Austin Roberts back on the field and, the guys that we missed last year.
Caleb Benenoch never went full speed. Did he have any setbacks, or was it just?
He didn't. It got to the point, David, where it was like diminishing returns. Why put him out there in the competitive environment? Besides, he did the one-on-one. You saw him do the one-on-one where he'd suffer a setback. We didn't want him to suffer a setback because he was making progress, and he was doing a lot of work on the side, and he did get on the one-on-ones. But it became, less important to put him in a team environment. And really, he's a guy that's played a lot of games. He is experienced, and I would rather have him, healthy, 100% healthy for the fall.
How has Devin looked in the past few practices transitioning to outside?
Well, he's done both. I mean, he's been inside and outside. I think it's more difficult to transition than people would imagine. The field changes, the dimensions of the field change for you. You go outside, and the corner can push you to the boundary. You don't have as much field to work with. So I think it's demanded him to work more on his, escape at the line of scrimmage, getting off the bump and run. But I think that, adding that versatility you know, and being able to go outside will help him. I think that a guy that showed up a lot in spring and got better, and he dropped some balls today, but I think Aaron Sharp has a chance to be a really good receiver. We've worked him mainly inside. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see him be a guy that moves to the outside as well, because he's got that long speed. So it was great to have Darren Andrews back. You know, I mean, he's shifty and he's got a burst and he's got speed. So it's a good group, you know, and the more versatile they can be. You know, what you'd like to always do with the defense is kind of play where's Waldo? You know, make them find a guy and not be consistent in your alignments. It's much more hard to defend that type of offense.
How do you think Miles Jack switched to inside linebacker?
It was flawless, and the reason it was flawless is because we play so much nickel, and he's played that position. So there was nothing new really for him besides the new learning that everyone on defense had because of the new scheme additions that Tom brought. But in terms of playing that spot, it's really exactly what he's done in our nickel defense, and you know, we're at least 50, maybe more than that nickel as it is.
You plan to keep him there?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, at times.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna move him around. You get a guy like that, you try to put him in position. It's like, you know, a guy on the outside, you try to put him in position to make plays. And play a little Where's Waldo with him too, and make him find him.
What do you look for in spring training? Do you just try and build a foundation for the fall camp, or what are you looking for?
Well, I think it depends on where you are in the development of your program. For us this year, you know, with 18 returning starters, it was, to me, taking a step up in the level of maturity and the way we practiced, continuing to emphasize competition, and then becoming a consistent football team day in and day out. And I think that we're moving towards those things. I don't think we're there. I don't think you ever get there, but we're moving towards those things.
In looking at Josh Rosen, it seems even within practices, he's a little inconsistent. In some drills, he doesn't seem to be taking it that seriously, and then he'll come in another drill and just kind of light it up. What would you?
Well, I think he's always serious, but I think he has fun. I think that there's so many factors that go into that. You know, he's working with different receivers on almost every single throw. You know, sometimes he's throwing to Jordan Payton, and sometimes he's throwing to a guy that might not play as much as Jordan Payton. So, and that's how it is for every quarterback in the country. So sometimes he's working behind the first offensive line where, you know, he's got a little more time, and sometimes he's working behind the backups. You know, and the backups right now, for a reason, they're working their way up to being starters, so he doesn't have as much time. But he looked good today. They all did, you know, and they all had a smile on their face. And it's what you like to see: great competitors having fun, competing, and they did.
Rios had a couple nice pass breakups today. How would you grade his progression over the course of the spring?
I think he's done well, quietly. You know, I think he's become a consistent performer out at corner. I think Priest Willis has done very well. He's still a corner. We'll be saying that till he leaves, I'm sure.
Or years after.
You know, it was great to see Johnny Johnson make it through spring healthy. Jalen Ortiz did some good things. You know, and that's not talking about Fabian and Ish and those guys. So I think it's a good group of corners. I don't know if we have the top corner in America or not, but we've got a really good group of corners. So I'm impressed with that group right now, and we're adding some really good players in the fall as well. Some incoming freshmen.
Coach, in high school, Josh talked a lot about how the offense he ran at Bosco was similar to what he's running here. Did you see a comfort level of sorts for him out there this spring in terms of making that transition?
Well, Josh is very intelligent, and he's one of those kids that the game comes to more easily than some. You know, he understands concepts. He can conceptualize. It's you know, certain performers go out on the field and things kind of slow down for them, and they see things better or more quickly than others. And I think he's one of those guys. And so, having a familiarity to some of our verbiage certainly helped him. But you know, he had to adjust to the speed of the game. He had to adjust to, you know, the types of defenses he was seeing, different receivers. I thought he made a lot of progress this morning. It'll be really fun to see, you know, what he looks like when he comes back in the fall. You know, because now he's got the next phase here, the end of spring and then summer to continue to improve, like all our guys do.
In the NFL, did you ever have a rookie start for you at quarterback? No.
In a preseason game. You don't get those here in the college world, though.
How long do you foresee the quarterback race continuing in the fall camp?
What time's kickoff, First Virginia?
don't think they've said it yet.
Whenever kickoff versus Virginia is, that's when we'll announce the starter when he runs out on the field and the PA announcer says,
So
"That
you'll-
quarterback
So you'll come
from the
up,
LA Times."
come upstairs and tell us why you made the decision then?
No,
right
we'll talk
there?
about that
Okay.
after.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, everyone.